Hello again. Today I wanted to talk about my all-time favorite iPhone and favorite slab phone, or at least one of my top favorite slab phones, the iPhone 13 mini. So let's get into it. So I've been a fan of this phone since I ran my first marathon last year, and while I was training for that, I was searching for a powerful but yet compact device. So obviously this thing fits the bill perfectly. It's super light, will fit in any pocket or pouch, and it's still got pretty good battery life, great cameras, and really no complaints. If you're looking for a nice light companion phone when you're doing runs, you really can't go wrong with this phone. So the appeal of this phone really has to be experienced. You're really not going to grasp it by just watching a video about it or me even trying to show you on video. You really just have to hold this phone in your hand and experience it yourself. I mean, there's really something to be said about having a one-handed phone. I mean, I can reach anywhere I want on the screen without doing crazy phone finger gymnastics, the whole crazy claw move. So really, it's hard to convey in words just how this thing feels in the hand. You've just got to really pick it up, hold it, and realize, the way phones really used to be 5-10 years ago. You didn't have 6.7-inch screens, folding phones. You had just small slab phones, which were actually a little bit smaller than this. So the unfortunate thing about this phone is Apple actually stopped selling these. So back when they launched the iPhone 15 in September, they took this off their website. So really, you're not going to find this, at least from the Apple website. You're going to have to go to the secondhand market, eBay, Swappa, whatever. Now, there are a few carriers who still have stock of this. I know T-Mobile for a fact. They do have the 512 gigabyte model of this, and obviously you're still going to pay full price, even though it's a 2-year-old phone. But if you want to get a brand spanking new one, that's probably your best bet. Otherwise, you've got the secondhand market to rely on. Now, personally, if you are looking for one of these, I would just recommend picking up a secondhand one. And as long as it's in good condition, I really wouldn't sweat how much the battery health is, because you can pay 89 bucks, get a brand new battery in this, and it's definitely going to last you another 3 to 5 years, because obviously Apple is known for and actually really good about supporting and updating their phones for multiple years. So I would say easily you get another 3 to 5 years of updates out of this. So get you a brand new battery, pay your 89 bucks, and boom, you essentially got a new phone. Now, as far as the price of these on the used market, probably average about 400 bucks, again, depending on condition and battery health. But I would care more about just the overall condition of the phone as opposed to worrying about, hey, it's got 80% battery life or battery health or whatever. Because again, for 89 bucks, you can get a brand new battery in it. So if you can find a good cosmetic one for about 350 bucks, pay your 89 bucks, and you basically got a brand new phone. Now, this phone has been out for more than 2 years now, so there's been hundreds of reviews, if not thousands of reviews. None of the specs of this thing have changed since those reviews, so I'll briefly rehash those specs for you. So this has got all the flagship features. It's got your Face ID, MagSafe. It's got a 5.4-inch AMOLED display. Now, it's only 60 hertz, which I could really care less about. On a screen this small, I don't really see the benefit of having 120 hertz. It's just going to cost you more on battery life. So honestly, 60 hertz, not a big deal. To my eye, I don't really see a difference. Now, this has got the A15 Bionic chip, which again is still super powerful. I mean, it'll benchmark higher than most flagship phones today. So no worries with the performance whatsoever. Of course, you do have the good old-fashioned lightning port as opposed to the USB Type-C. But again, I always wirelessly charge anyway, so I really don't plug this in that often. Now again, the cameras, you got you a 12 megapixel, you've got 2 cameras, you got a wide angle, and then your normal. There is no obviously telephoto optical zoom on this, but the thing still takes great photos. You can record 4K video at 30, all that good stuff. So really, I mean, it's an iPhone, so the camera is pretty good. I'm not going to show you camera samples just because there's about a bazillion of them out there, but just be assured that obviously it takes good pictures. Also excellent, like most iPhones, for recording video, so you shouldn't have to worry about that at all. This also has the whole cinematic zoom thing, which I've honestly never once used. I don't think I've ever even tried it, but if you're into that, want to do some fancy cinematic video, you can do that with this phone. Basically, this thing's got all the specs that you have in any modern flagship phone, and really, when it comes to performance and the hardware, I honestly have zero complaints. Another good thing I forgot to mention about this phone is it still has a physical SIM card, whereas Apple, starting with the iPhone 14, did away with all physical SIMs and it's all eSIMs, which is not a problem unless you're like me and I kind of like to rotate between 2 to 3 phones at a time. So having a physical SIM card makes it 100 times easier. You just pop it out, plug it in, don't have to talk to your carrier at all. Whereas with an eSIM, depending on which devices you're switching to, it can definitely be quite the hassle. So having a physical SIM is actually a win in my book, and I wish Apple would actually bring those back. Now, of course, the number one complaint about this phone is always going to be the battery life. And like I said, I think it's actually pretty good. This phone, personally, is currently sitting at 86% for the battery health. And with that, I'm still getting probably 5 to 6 hours of screen on time, but I'm not what you call a super heavy user on this phone. I mean, I have better things to do than spend 5 hours on my phone, but if I'm going to watch videos or play games or anything, I'm probably going to do it on one of my other phones. For instance, the Surface Duo 2. I use this pretty much for all my media stuff, watching YouTube, all that stuff. So for me, this phone is obviously a phone. It's my primary communication device. So use it for calls, text messages, check my email, and I also use it for my digital wallet and my point and shoot camera. So for that, the battery is more than sufficient. And one thing I would recommend is if you get this phone and you are a super heavy user, you're going to have to pick them up used now, but the MagSafe battery pack is really perfect for the iPhone 13 mini. With that, you're probably going to get another 70% of battery out of it, which, you know, you're looking at 10 hours of screen on time. So it's super compact. I use mine to charge it, so I have a little desk stand. I'll try and shoot some B-roll of it, but the battery pack sits inside it, it charges, and I just slap this on there at night, and that's how I charge my phone. Because with the MagSafe, it uses Apple software, you can smart charge it, and it really prolongs the life of the battery itself. So I recommend it. You can probably find one for, I don't know, 50 to 75 bucks secondhand on eBay, but Apple actually took those off their website as well, so they don't produce those anymore. Maybe they'll release a new one, but you can find them. They're out there. I found one on eBay, brand new, and I paid, I think, 75 bucks for it. So like I said, the battery life is really going to depend on you and how you use the thing, and obviously what the battery health is when you pick the phone up. But for me, it's personally not an issue. Also, on a side note, I think the iPhone 13 series has the best colorware of any of the iPhones to date, at least when it comes to the product red color. So to me, the red hue of this is by far the best product red that I think Apple has released. Now, obviously, I've got the little official leather case for this, which again, Apple stopped making. They've gone to some synthetic vegan type leather. But if you're getting a 13 series anyway, specifically this phone, you're gonna have to find a used one. So I got this case brand new on eBay for a fraction of what Apple sells them for. So there's still plenty of cases and accessories for this thing, even though Apple has essentially abandoned it. All right, so you may ask yourself, why would you get this as opposed to the iPhone SE? The iPhone SE, starts about just under 400 bucks, but that's only for a 64 gigabyte model. And again, you can get these for about 400 bucks, but the main reason I would tell you is essentially the iPhone SE kind of sucks. It's got one camera, crappy specs. It's actually got a smaller screen than the 13 mini, but yet a bigger body. So it's got an ancient design, crappy camera. I mean, no MagSafe. It's just really not a good value in my opinion when you can pick one of these up for 400 bucks. So obviously it's your money. You can do what you want, but I would definitely stay away from the iPhone SE if you're just looking for a compact phone. I would try and find, again, the 13 mini. All right, so the big question is, should you buy the iPhone 13 mini in 2024? And I would definitely say absolutely. I think it's a great value, still a fantastic phone. I mean, when it comes to a compact slab phone, I don't think you can beat it. I mean, currently I'm using this as my primary phone, and I've got, again, the Surface Duo 2 that I use as my secondary, so I got essentially extra hotspot data on this. So I use this from this using the hotspot data, and to me it's a perfect combination. When I want to use just a phone and a camera, I've got this, and then anything else, I use my Surface Duo 2. So to me, that's a perfect combination. Obviously, that might not be your cup of tea, but it works for me and I enjoy that. So what do you guys think? Are you a fan of the iPhone 13 mini? Do you think it's worth it in 2024? I'm kind of curious what you guys think. Would you, hey, rather get this or the SE? Anyway, let me know in the comments below, and I appreciate you guys watching, and I will catch you in the next one.